It's time for the Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report on the Rural Radio Network. I'm Clay Patton. Thanks once again for joining us on the Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report. This is for the week ending October the 21st. The market, we're going to call it fully steady this week with last week. One sale we did note this week saw some sharply higher quotes, especially for prime slaughter stock. Another sale, though, noted some softer prices with mixed demand. Other sales were pretty steady with the prior week. So that's why we call it basically right down the middle a fully steady week here in the market. Now, Sioux Falls Regional Livestock for the second week in a row noted that a lot of running age wool and hair ewes returned to the country rather than going into the slaughter chain. Producers Livestock in Texas also noted a similar trend of running age goat does going back to the ranch rather than going into the supermarket. Now, I'm taking this as a positive sign as we're looking at possible herd rebuilding here in the U.S. It's also a signal possibly that's the start of another round of new producers coming into the market. And what I mean by that is the cattle market, it continues to be aggressive, and for ranchers that are looking to build their herds back, it's going to be quite costly. We're seeing on a limited basis so far any breds or replacement quality stock bring quite a premium right now on the cattle side of the market. With that, higher interest rates are deterring those ranchers from really wanting to borrow that money to rebuild herds. Now, a little bit of a different story maybe if they're in a cash position, but if they're borrowing that money, it's going to be quite costly. So if the higher interest rates, albeit the highness of the cattle market, is that going to push some ranchers over to sheep and goats? They kind of all offer that more capital-friendly alternative. They can get back into a herd, they can get into it at a lower cost as well, and then build it from there. So again, I think a little bit of both sides of that. Just again, guys wanting to rebuild their herds from the droughts of 2 years, as well as maybe some guys kind of stepping over the market, learning a little bit more about it and wanting to step in and kind of see what's happening over on the small ruminant side of it. Now, overall, the average commercial female, I would say both sheep and goats right now, and again, that running age will call anywhere from 2 to 6 years old, about $175 to $250 a head, and that's in an open state. That's not bred, but again, not enough bred sales to really give a hard line there. And again, that's commercial females. That's not registered. That's not purebred. That's just run through the barn, breedable, replacement quality stock right there. Now, for those that are looking for a marketing schedule, when are the holidays that maybe you want to market your sheep and goats? Well, we do have Hanukkah coming up December 7th through the 15th. Then in 2024, Chinese New Year's is February 7th, Ramadan March 10th through the April 8th, Passover is April 22nd through the 30th, and Easter is set for April 17th. Now, let's recap some of the quotes out from this week's trade as well as we go to Colby Livestock in Kansas. 9 head of 57-pound feeder goats brought $300 a hundredweight. That's $171 a head. Colby also sold 18 head of 72-pound hair lambs for $187.50 a hundredweight. That's $135 a head. Centennial Livestock in Colorado sold 47 head of 115-pound wool lambs for $184 a hundredweight or $212 a head. Upper end of that draft brought $210 a hundredweight or $241.50 a head. Centennial also sold 23 head of 116-pound goat wethers for $209 a hundredweight on the average, or about $243 a head. Upper end of the draft brought $250 a hundredweight. That's $290 a head. Kelowna, Iowa sold 3 head of 75-pound wool lambs for $300 a hundredweight. That's $225 a head. Now, why do we include such a low head comment here? Well, if you go down into our regional price breakdown, you're going to see on some of the upper ends of these some really high numbers, but I think it's really important to know because I do include that in the overall price range of where we saw the market, but sometimes it's on a low number of heads. So yes, you may see some really aggressive prices out there on the upper end, but it's not indicative maybe of the entire market complex. But again, 3 head, that's quite a ticket, $225 a head on some 75-pound wool lambs. Now, Kelowna, Iowa also sold 51 head of 55-pound goats for $248 a hundredweight. That's $136 a head. Upper end of that draft brought $309 a hundredweight, $170 a head. Now, for a bigger run on the wool lamb side, Sioux Falls Regional Livestock, 650 head of 128-pound slaughter wool lambs. They averaged $190 a hundredweight, $243 a head. Upper end of the draft, $195 a hundredweight, $250 a head. Sioux Falls also sold 41 head of hair lambs weighing 76 pounds for $180 a hundredweight or $137 a head. Sioux Falls also sold 10 head of running age open wool ewes weighing 186 pounds for $200 a head average. Upper end of those 10 brought $214 a head. Now, Producers Livestock in Texas sold 152 head of 65-pound hair lambs for $248 a hundredweight, $161 a head average. Upper end of the draft calf brought $265 a hundredweight or $161 a head. Producers also sold 21 head of open running age 2 to 4 year old hair ewes weighing 122 pounds for $149 a head. Producers livestock also sold 115 head of 4 to 6 year old 113 pound goat does for $194 a head. Now again, those are 4 to 6 years old, got a little age to them, but still bringing about $200 a head on that one. Now we go over into your weekly slaughter numbers. Lamb slaughter this week estimated at 36,000 head through Saturday, a 2,000 head increase from last week and 2,000 head more than last year. Year-to-date lamb slaughter at 1.45 million head, about 3.6% or 50,000 head more than last year's lamb slaughter. Live lamb weights this week, 118 pounds, a decrease of 1 pound from last week and a decrease of 7 pounds from last year. Dressed lamb weights were 60 pounds. That's a decrease of 1 pound from last week and down 3 pounds from last year. In the regional price breakdown on the wool lambs, we had 40 to 70 pound wool lambs, 140 to 312 and a half a hundredweight. 70 pounds and up on the wool lambs, $152 to $300 a hundredweight. Hair lambs, 20 to 40 pounds, 170 to 285 a hundredweight. 40 to 70 pound hair lambs, 165 to 295 a hundredweight. On the 70 pounds and up hair lambs, 160 to 240 a hundredweight. In the wool ewes, the slaughter side, 32 to 125 a hundredweight. On the slaughter rams, 65 to 142.50 a hundredweight as well. On those stocker wool ewes, we'll call that market again, about $175 to $250 a head. On the replacement hair ewes, not enough of those quite this week to make a full market trend. For the slaughter ewes, though, 50 to 135 a hundredweight. Hair rams, $100 to $260 a hundredweight. On the kid goats, 20 to 40 pounds, 120 to 390 a hundredweight. Meanwhile, we had 40 to 70 pound kid goats, 165 to 370 a hundredweight. 70 pounds and up, 185 to 315 a hundredweight. On the big withers, 70 pounds and up, 175 to 318 a hundredweight. On the slaughter does, medium to fleshy, 85 to $225 a head. Replacement quality does at $115 to $250 a head. On the slaughter bucks, $100 to $280 a hundredweight. Not enough for an applicable trend in the breeding bucks. And that is a look here at your Midwest Sheep and Goat Market Report on the Rural Radio Network.